Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're taking a look at the SIG 553 carbine. This is one of those hidden gems in the game I'd neglected until just recently, and I've got to say that now I've used it for a few hundred kills, I actually am pretty impressed with it. Now don't get me wrong, I don't think this gun is a god gun by any means, but of all the carbines, I think it's easily one of the best at the sort of ranges carbines should be most effective at. The SG553 is very similar to the popular acw-r, but it's a little bit more controllable at the expense of a slightly slower rate of fire. It's a great gun for close quarters, and it can still hold its own to some degree at mid to long range too. But anyway, let's take a look at the stats and find out how this gun works. It has the standard carbine damage model, dealing 25 damage out to 8 meters, which drops off to its minimum damage of 15.4 at 50 meters. This translates into roughly a 4 to 5 shot kill at close range or a 7 to 8 shot kill at long range. The SG553 fires at a well above average rate of 830 RPM, so it'll happily take out targets at close range at the expense of being slightly less stable at long range. It also has the standard carbine accuracy with a 0.3 standing ADS spread, a 0.8 moving ADS spread, and a standing hipfire spread of 2. As with all the carbines, this definitely lends itself to mobile CQB fighting rather than a stop and pop playstyle. As I mentioned before, the SG553 has a slight edge over the acw-r in stability, with a 0.3 vertical kick, a 0.3 pull to the left, and a 0.5 pull to the right. Admittedly, the acw-r's horizontal recoil isn't as bad as this, but with its slightly slower rate of fire and the right combination of attachments, the SG553 definitely seems easier to handle. As for the rest of this gun's key stats, it has a decent tactical reload time of 2.15 seconds and an empty reload time of 2.65 seconds. It also has a muzzle velocity of 430 meters per second, which is a little on the low end, but it's definitely not the worst in the carbine category. But anyway, how does this weapon perform in-game? Well, all of its stats don't seem so bad at first, but when you consider that quite often you'll be coming across targets at 50 meters or more, you can see why accuracy and stability is important for a carbine. Faster firing assault rifles are naturally more accurate and hit harder at long range, which is why guns like the AEK and the F2000 can still do a good job at longer ranges. Carbines unfortunately need to land more shots and ironically also have more trouble landing shots at long range. This is why many people consider easy to handle weapons like the AK-5C and the ACE-21 to be the standout weapons in the carbine category. The SG553 isn't a bad gun by comparison though, it's just different. Close range kills are very easy with this gun, but on the other hand, medium and long range kills can sometimes be challenging. Personally, I felt like this gun was less than ideal on large maps, and I found myself doing much better on Domination, TDM and the CQB Russian Conquest maps. If I had to choose between this and the acw-r, I'd probably run with the SIG 9 times out of 10 because it's just a little bit closer to that sweet spot, which makes an ideal all-round carbine. The biggest issue I have with this gun though is that its horizontal recoil makes it pretty essential to run with a compensator. This rules out running this weapon in a stealth loadout or adding a heavy barrel for some extra long range accuracy. As for my other recommended attachments for this gun, as with all carbines, I'd suggest a one-time sight and I'd say steer clear of the higher powered optics. To counteract the negative effects of the compensator, I'd run with a stubby grip to keep the spread of the weapon as tight as possible, and for those of you who like to hipfire a lot, I'd run with the laser sight. The tack light could also work well in place of the laser, but as this gun has a fairly decent hipfire spread to begin with, it's worth using attachments that take advantage of it. But anyway, to finish up this review, the SG553 is not a bad gun and it's definitely one that I've enjoyed using. Will it become one of my go-to carbines? Well, probably not. It's hard to beat the ACE-21, the AK-5C and the M4 in my opinion. If you haven't tried out the SIG yet though, it's well worth giving it a go. It's a gun that you'll have to learn to love, and it's very limited in what it's really great at, but once you've got a few kills with it, it's actually pretty fun to use. But anyway guys, that's it, and as always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And if you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield 4 videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below. And if you have any suggestions for weapons or loadouts that you'd like to see in upcoming videos on this channel, then feel free to let me know in the comments of this video or send me a tweet on Twitter at BillyEatWorld. But until next time guys, see you later and have a good one.